The red sky burned like fire over the jagged mountains of Nareth, a world so hostile that even the strongest creatures struggled to survive. Lyra crawled across the cracked, blackened ground, her body weak, blood soaking through the tattered uniform she wore. Every breath was a battle. Every step felt like walking through knives. She glanced at the horizon, hoping for some sign of rescue, but the only thing she saw was endless death, endless silence. The wind howled like a living thing, carrying fine dust that cut her skin and burned her eyes. She had been sent on a mission that no human had ever survived before, a mission to study the energy cores of the planet. But a sudden ambush by alien patrols had left her broken and alone. Lyra's vision blurred as she tried to drag herself forward, knowing that if she stopped, she would die here, unnoticed, forgotten. Above her, a shadow moved across the sky, a small spacecraft, almost invisible against the red clouds. Captain Arik had been observing the planet from orbit, knowing that the Galactic Empire considered humans weak, a species unfit to explore the stars. He had not expected to find anything alive on Nareth, but when the sensors picked up faint signs of life, he felt a spark of hope. Arik landed carefully, the craft's thrusters kicking up dust and rocks, and stepped onto the cracked ground. The wind hit him with full force, but he moved quickly, scanning for threats, knowing the Empire's patrols could appear at any moment. Then he saw her, Lyra, lying in the dirt, her face pale, eyes barely open. Without thinking, he ran to her side, ignoring the danger, ignoring protocol, because he knew that humans were capable of something the galaxy often forgot: courage. Arik knelt beside her, his hands shaking slightly as he assessed her injuries. A deep gash ran across her side, and her uniform was soaked with blood. He tore a strip of cloth and pressed it against the wound, trying to slow the bleeding. Lyra groaned softly, her lips moving but no sound came out. "You're safe now," Arik said, his voice low but firm. "I won't let anything happen to you." He lifted her carefully, feeling the weight of her broken body, realizing that every second counted. The wind screamed around them, but Arik ignored it, focusing only on the fragile life in his arms. For a moment, he wondered why he risked so much, why humans continued to fight when the galaxy mocked them. But then he saw Lyra's eyes, full of fear but also determination, and he knew. He ran toward the spacecraft, dodging jagged rocks and sharp cliffs, the alien patrol still unaware of their presence. Every step was painful for both of them, but neither stopped. Lyra whispered something, her voice barely audible. "Why? Help me." Arik smiled faintly. "Because humans never give up." And in that moment, amidst the storms and the dying world, something sparked, a small flicker of hope. The galaxy had laughed at humanity for centuries, calling them weak, fragile, insignificant. But here was a human, risking everything to save another. And no empire, no alien power, could ignore that. As Arik reached the ship, he placed Lyra inside carefully, strapping her down, checking that the systems were ready for a sudden escape. The engines roared to life, lifting them away from the red sands and jagged cliffs. From orbit, the alien patrols could see the movement, but it was already too late. A human had taken the first step that no one expected, a small act that could shake the galaxy. And for Lyra, still weak and bleeding, hope returned, fragile but real. As the craft soared into the clouds, Arik glanced at her. "We'll make it," he promised, and the world of death below them began to shrink. But the story, the struggle, was only beginning. The spacecraft shook as it left the red skies of Nerath behind. Inside, Lyra lay on the medical bed, her breathing shallow, her body weak. Arik moved quickly, checking the wounds he had bandaged in the desert, making sure nothing had reopened. He tore a strip of cloth from his own uniform and pressed it again over a deep gash, murmuring softly, "Hold on, Lyra. We're not finished yet." She groaned, her eyes fluttering open, and tried to speak. But the words were faint, almost lost. "You're alive," she whispered, staring at him with a mix of fear and relief. Arik nodded. "Yes, alive, and we're going to stay that way." The ship's sensors beeped, signaling movement outside. Alien patrols scanning the area, searching for life. Arik's jaw tightened, but he didn't panic. "They'll never find us if we move smart," he said, setting a course toward a hidden sector of the galaxy. Lyra tried to sit up, but pain shot through her side, and she collapsed back onto the bed. "You have to rest," Arik said firmly. "You've lost too much blood." She nodded weakly, and for a moment, Silence filled the cabin, except for the hum of the ship. Even in this quiet, Arik felt the weight of the galaxy's gaze, the way the Empire always underestimated humans, calling them weak, fragile, incapable. But Arik knew the truth. Humans were clever, unpredictable, and courageous. He had seen it again and again, and now, with Lyra in his hands, he had to prove it once more. He accessed the ship's controls, weaving through asteroid fields and unstable planets, using every trick he knew to avoid detection. Every maneuver was precise, dangerous, but it worked. Lyra watched him, curiosity and amazement in her eyes. "How do you do it?" Arik smiled faintly. "Humans never follow the rules when it matters. We make our own path." Her eyes widened as she realized the truth in his words, the strength humans carried, the courage they hid beneath their small frames. He tapped into the ship's sensors, discovering faint signals that hinted at enemy patrols ahead. "We'll have to move fast and smart," he said. "One mistake, and they'll catch us." Lyra nodded weakly, trying to focus, trying to help. Hours passed as they navigated the dangerous space, the ship dodging patrols and traps. Arik explained to Lyra what she carried, the data she had gathered before the ambush. "It's information about the Empire's secret plans," he said. "Plans that could destroy colonies, destroy hope." Her eyes widened, even in her weak state. "They want humans gone," she whispered. "Yes," Arik replied, "but they haven't counted on what we can do, on the courage humans carry." He checked the ship's energy, preparing for sudden jumps and evasions. Knowing the Empire's hunters were fast and relentless, Lyra reached out, gripping his arm lightly. "I never thought anyone would risk so much for me." Arik shook his head. "Humans protect each other, no matter what the galaxy says." For a moment, the ship was quiet, but tension hung like a shadow. The Empire always close, always watching. Then, suddenly, the sensors beeped frantically. A patrol ship had detected a faint trace. Arik's heart raced, but he didn't hesitate. "Hold on," he said, adjusting the ship's engines. "We're going to show them what humans can do." He activated a small stealth field, a prototype human invention that flickered around the ship, hiding it from alien eyes. Lyra gasped. "It's invisible." Arik nodded. "Just enough to give us a chance." The patrol passed by, unaware, and Arik let out a quiet breath, relief washing over him. Lyra looked at him, awe and hope in her eyes. "I thought humans were weak." He smiled. "We're not weak. We're smart, brave, and unpredictable." And as the stars stretched past them, the first spark of hope shone, fragile but real. The galaxy had laughed at humans for too long, but now, one small act of courage had changed everything. The stars stretched endlessly outside the spacecraft, but inside, tension hung thick like a storm. Arik's hands moved over the controls, every movement precise, every decision critical. The alien Empire had realized Lyra was missing, and now a fleet of hunters was chasing them through the asteroid fields. "Patience and speed," Arik muttered. "That's all we have." Lyra leaned against the bed, her body still weak, but her eyes sharp, watching every movement. She tried to imagine how a human could survive against such power. But the truth became clear as she saw Arik in action. He twisted the ship between asteroids, dodging massive rocks and debris with impossible skill. The hunters fired energy pulses that cut through the void, missing them by mere inches. Lyra gasped as one shot tore past the side of the ship, sparks flying. "We have to go faster," Arik said, his voice calm. "The Empire isn't used to humans thinking like this." They dove into a dense asteroid belt, weaving through rocks that seemed almost alive. Arik's hands moved quickly, instinct guiding him. Humans had an ability to improvise, to do what no machine could predict. Lyra watched, amazed. How can you do that?" Arik didn't answer. He just focused, keeping the ship steady. Every pulse of the engines a lifeline. The alien fleet grew closer, their weapons tracking them. But the hunters didn't understand one simple fact. Could think in chaos, could turn danger into opportunity. A sudden massive rock blocked their path, and Arik made a split-second choice. Diving through a narrow gap, the ship scraping dangerously close. Lyra held her breath, fear and awe mixing together when they cleared the obstacle. A small smile broke across Arik's face. "See? Humans adapt." She shook her head in disbelief. "I've never seen anything like this." The data she carried burned in her pocket, Information the Empire would kill to protect. And now, humanity's survival depended on this chase, on Arek's courage and Lyra's knowledge. Hours passed, and the hunters never gave up. Their ships, relentless, they used every trick, every maneuver, but Arek countered with ingenuity and risk, showing a human's ability to survive against impossible odds. Lyra tried to help, pointing out weaknesses in the fleet's movements, offering what little insight she could. Arek nodded. Good, you're learning fast. Humans always find a way. The fleet split, one group trying to flank them, another moving ahead to cut them off. Arek adjusted the engines, using asteroid shadows to hide their path, then launched decoys that drew the hunters away. Lyra's eyes widened. You're playing with them. Arek smiled faintly. Sometimes the smartest weapon is making them think they control the situation. The hunters pursued blindly, unaware they had been tricked, for the first time. Lyra realized what humans could do, how courage and cleverness could equal strength. Suddenly, the sensors flashed red. A massive alien destroyer had joined the hunt. Arek's jaw tightened. He knew the destroyer's weapons could destroy his small ship in seconds. We have to take a risk, he muttered. No choice. He steered toward a dense nebula, a cloud of gas and energy that could hide them, but also crush them if he miscalculated. Lyra held on tightly, fear gripping her. Are we going to survive? Arek glanced at her, calm and determined. We don't have a choice, but humans never give up. We adapt, we fight, and sometimes we shock the universe. The ship entered the nebula, engines straining, lights flickering, alien sensors lost in the chaotic energy. For a moment, silence filled the cabin, except for the hum of the ship, and in that silence, Lyra understood. Humans might be small, fragile, and underestimated, but their courage and cleverness could challenge the galaxy. The chase was far from over, but one truth shone brightly. The galaxy had never seen humans fight like this. The nebula stretched around them, a swirling cloud of colors and energy, making senses useless and navigation a deadly challenge. Arek's hands never left the controls, his eyes sharp, every instinct focused on survival. Lyra lay on the medical bed, still weak, but watching him carefully, her mind racing with questions about the Empire and the data she carried. You're calm, she whispered, even with them chasing us. Arek didn't answer immediately, his eyes scanning the flickering readings. Humans survive because we don't panic. We act, we adapt, he finally said, his voice steady. Lyra nodded, trying to absorb the truth. I see that now. The ship's engines hummed steadily, cutting through the nebula. But outside, the Empire was relentless, their destroyers moving like predators. Arek adjusted their path, dodging energy surges in the cloud, small sparks of danger hitting the hull. For Lyra, every second was a battle to stay conscious, to remember why she had risked this mission in the first place. She reached for the small data device she carried, the information that could change everything. Arek noticed her movement. Don't touch it now. We need to survive first, then we can see what it really holds. Her eyes widened. It's important. Yes, Arek said, but survival comes before anything else, because no data matters if we're dead. Hours passed, and the nebula's turbulence slowed the hunters for now, giving them a brief reprieve. Arek monitored condition, making minor repairs to the ship, stabilizing its energy flow, showing the ingenuity that humans were known for. Lyra finally spoke, her voice firmer now. I need to decode this. The Empire. They plan to destroy human colonies. All of them. Arek froze, understanding the gravity of her words. Then we have to act fast. The galaxy doesn't know what's coming. Lyra pulled the device close, her fingers trembling, and began to unlock the codes, revealing a complex network of weapon systems and secret orders. Arek watched her, impressed at her courage, even in her weakened state. Humans can surprise the galaxy, he said softly. Suddenly, a red warning flashed on the console. The hunters had regained contact, detecting faint energy signatures. Arek's jaw tightened. We have little time. We have to make a choice. Lyra looked at him, hope and fear mixing. What choice? He leaned back, staring at the swirling nebula outside. We attack, or we hide and hope. And humans never hope. We act. Her eyes widened as she realized what he meant. Attack. Against them, Arek said, determination in his voice. We're going to show the galaxy what humans can do. He plotted a course toward an abandoned outpost near the edge of the nebula, a location close enough to strike, but far from immediate reinforcements. Lyra continued decoding the device, revealing the Empire's secret weapon, capable of destroying entire colonies with one strike. Eric's mind raced, considering strategies, knowing that humans had to rely on courage, ingenuity, and unpredictability. This weapon can't be allowed to fire. He said, if we do nothing, everything humans have built will be gone. Lyra looked at him, her eyes shining with trust. Then we do it, she said softly. Eric smiled faintly. That's the human spirit. No matter how impossible it seems, we fight, we survive, we adapt. The nebula shifted around them, hiding their approach, giving humans a small advantage against the Empire that had underestimated them for centuries. And in that moment, both knew that the next move would not only decide their fate, but could shock the galaxy itself. The outpost loomed ahead, a massive structure of steel and alien technology, bristling with weapons and scanners. Eric's ship glided silently through the nebula, hidden from most sensors, but the danger was still real. Lyra lay on the bed, her strength returning slowly, the data device clutched tightly in her hands. This is it, Eric whispered, his eyes on the target. One chance to stop them. One chance to prove humans are not weak. Lyra nodded, fear mixed with determination. Let's do it. They approached the main gate, or energy shields, hummed with power, and Eric's hands moved over the controls. He deployed small drones, quiet and fast, to disable sensors one by one, showing human ingenuity in action. The alien guards were unaware, confident that no human could challenge them. Eric smiled faintly. They never expect humans to think like this. Lyra helped, decoding control panels, shutting down doors and traps remotely. The outpost was designed to be impossible, but humans thrived on impossibility. Inside, the Empire's secret weapon waited, a massive machine pulsing, with energy, ready to fire on human colonies. Lyra gasped, it's worse than I thought. Eric nodded, then we make it better. They moved quickly, dodging patrols and traps, using every skill humans had: speed, cleverness, and courage. An alarm finally sounded, and alien soldiers rushed toward them, but Eric had a plan. He lured them into a trap using the environment, energy pulses from the machinery bouncing back to disable the guards. Lyra smiled faintly, her hope rising. It's working. They reached the core of the weapon, the heart of the Empire's plan to destroy human colonies. Eric and Lyra worked together, Lyra decoding, Eric dismantling. Each action precise, human teamwork at its finest. Minutes passed like hours, tension thick in the air. Finally, the weapon powered down, its energy fading, harmless. The Empire's commanders could not believe what they saw. Humans had disabled a machine no one thought possible. Eric and Lyra stepped back, breathing heavily, exhausted but victorious. Lyra looked at him. We did it, Eric nodded. We showed them. Humans are never weak. Outside, the outpost's alarms blared, but the hunters were too late. The humans had already escaped. The nebula hid them again, giving time to flee before reinforcements arrived. The galaxy had laughed at humanity for centuries, underestimating their courage, creativity, and determination. Now, every corner of the Empire knew that humans were unpredictable, capable of shocking the universe. Lyra leaned back, relief washing over her. I never thought humans could do this. Eric smiled, tired but proud. Humans survive because we never give up. We adapt, we fight, even when the odds are against us. The stars stretched before them, endless and full of possibilities. For the first time, the Empire saw humans as a force, not to be underestimated. A species small in size but giant in courage and ingenuity. Eric and Lyra set a course for home, carrying hope for all humanity. Proof that even in the darkest places, humans could rise. The galaxy was shocked, yes, but more importantly, humanity had proven itself. The human spirit, their courage, and their cleverness had turned fear into hope, defeat into victory, and as they disappeared into the stars, one truth shone: bright humans were no longer to be laughed at. The Empire, the galaxy, all of them would remember that one human, one act, could change everything.